Alright, before I dive into today's tutorial, let me give a quick heads up. This is actually not a very good time for me to record this tutorial because of allergic rhinitis flare up. So I might sniffle every now and then. So kindly bear with me. Someone actually requested for this. I had this time and I also felt they needed it urgently. So I'm like, why not? All right, so I've done my Google search on the search box, Stitch Fiddle, and then we have the very first result. So I'm just going to click that, which is going to take us directly to the Stitch Fiddle site. Okay, at this point, I'm going to advise that you actually create an account. You just scroll down, you'll see this sign up / login. I already have an account, so I can decide to log in right now, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm not going to log into my account just yet. Eventually, I will to show you some of the previous projects that I have done. That's actually one of the advantages of creating an account. It automatically saves up your your projects, and you can have access to them at a later time. So at this point, you might want to click on the sign up and create an account for yourself. So after you've done that, you'll be presented with these same options to choose your crafts. Yeah, obviously it's going to be crochet for me because I crochet. I don't do any of this other stuff, so I'm just going to choose this very first option, which is crochet. And then we are presented with more options. It's asking what kind of crochet project do you want to do. For me, it's going to be the very first one, which is the C2C, corner to corner crochet. So I'm just going to click that. So you can just scroll all the way down and choose whatever fits your project. So for me, it's this first one. And then it presents me with more option. My yarn type, I'm not gonna specify the particular kind of yarn I'm using, so I'm just gonna go for the no preference. It doesn't really matter for me. And then more options. This is asking empty charts in brackets own design. Is asking if you want to create your own design, or if you want to use an existing picture, or if you want to create a QR code. For me, I'm using an existing picture. I'm simply just converting an existing picture into a pixel format. So I'm going to go right here with the second option. All right, so here it's prompting me to choose a picture from my gallery. Okay, so it's also important I mention right here that I'm using my mobile phone. I don't have access to my laptop right now, so I'm working on my phone. So the implication of that is the video might be a bit small because the screen is quite small, so we just have to like you know adjust and bear with me once again. Yeah, so I'm just gonna click. All right, fine, we're here. I chose this image, and at this point you can actually just save your chart, meaning that you're okay with what the image looks like. But if you take a look at this image, you would see that if I turned my phone sideways, this actually image is actually in like a rectangular shape, and that might not necessarily be the size I want to work with. So I'm just going to click on adjust settings, which gives me more options to tweak and adjust my picture to what I actually want it to be. So this is the part where you get to roll up your sleeve and do the dirty job. It's actually fun. Yeah, it's nothing to be overwhelmed about. So here we have the option to crop our image. When you click it, you see you can just do this and crop your image to whatever size you want. So I'm just going to cancel that. I was just showing you. And here this arrow here is to undo whatever action you've taken. The next arrow is to redo whatever action you just have undone. And then going to the size, you can actually click on this square option, and the site automatically adjusts your image to a square size. And let's just try that right now. So you can see the change has taken effect. The image is now in square, all sides are equal. If you're okay with this, you can just go ahead and click save chart and start on your project. But for me, I want us to explore the adjust settings further. So I'm just going to go back to explore, and I'm going to unclick the square option that I chose earlier. And right here you can see that the next option is exact size. If you want to work on the exact size, you click it, and then this is what it gives us. I mean, I think it changed it back to square, so I don't know why that happened. But then if we unclick this exact size, it goes back to the original size, which is this. So let's go back to so for me, what I really do, let's just go straight onto that. You can, if you look at the size measurements now, it's showing 84 by 150. That's the actual size. And then you have this adjuster here, meaning that you can, from here you can decide to adjust. You can see it's changed the size from 43 to 43 by 78. You can adjust it to be larger, so you can actually use this adjuster to do that. So let me take it back to the default 150. Sometimes it's always hard to get the, okay, so it's back to 150. So let's go ahead and explore what the size calculator is about. The gauge and size calculator. Okay, so let me just click that. Okay, so you can go ahead and read these important options 1 to 4, but let's just head on straight so that we don't waste too much time. Okay, so to the left we have the sample swatch, and to the right we have the completed project. So what this sample swatch basically does is that okay, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to assume that we're about to work on a hoodie, right? And there's going to be a lot of assumption here, so just hypothesis or the hypothetical numbers all the way. Yes, so I'm gonna just assume that I want to crochet a hoodie that measures let's say 30 inches. I want it to be 30 inches wide, and of course for my hoodie I'm working on the front and back panel. So I'm going to go ahead to divide 30 inches into 2, meaning that my front panel is going to measure 15 inches while my back panel is going to measure 15 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and assume again that I am putting my design in the front panel. You can work your design anywhere you want. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to assume that I am working my design on the front panel. So now that we've stated that the front panel measures 15 inches, I'm going to go ahead and I want it 15 inches wide, so I'm going to change this 4 to 15, right? Now, how do I know how many stitches I have to do to give me 15 inches? So I have to go ahead and pick my yarn and my crochet pin and then start working. Remember, this is just a sample, this is not my actual project. So I'm going to go ahead and crochet my foundation chain, which should measure 15 inches. Now, personally, I don't feel that foundation chains gives us our accurate size, because I've found out that when I go 1 or 2 rows further, my foundation chain actually decreases. I mean in size, not in number now. So if, for example, I've done just like I said, I might be calling out ridiculous figures, but don't mind. Just hypothetically, let's say I have made 20 chains, foundation chain, and I measure it could give me 15 inches, but when I do the first and second row, I realize that when I measure it, the 15 inches would probably increase to 18 inches because it stretches. It depends on the kind of yarn you're using and um how relaxed, or your tension, if it's tight or if it's loose. So but for me, I realized that my foundation chain doesn't give me the actual measurements. So my foundation chain could measure 15, and then I do 1 or 2 rows further, and then it increases from 15 to say 18 inches. So usually for me to get my accurate measurement, I usually like doing like 2-3 rows more, then I measure. So I'm just going to assume that I've done let's say 20, or let's use let's say 100. So I'm just going to assume that I've used I did 100 stitches to give me 15 inches. So I'm going to change this to 100. So it means that 100 stitches gives me 15 inches. And then when you now look to your right, the completed project part, you would see that automatically the figures you're entering to the left, the sample, is altering, what the completed project is going to be. So the completed project is telling me that the size of my design is going to be 84 count and then 12.6 inches. So what I'm going to do right now is that with the help of my calculator, I'm just going to deduct this 84 from this 100 minus 84, so that's about 16. So this is how this works for me. There could be another interpretation, but I'm giving this tutorial based on what has worked for me. Yeah, so that's 16. So it means that I'm left with 16 background. Okay, I might have to show you a picture first before I go ahead with this part. So just hold on, let's go to a project I've worked on so that I can explain this a bit better. Right here is a hoodie that I worked on, and you can see this fire design. I actually used pixel all the way, and I did it on that Stitch Fiddle website. So you would see that my background color is brown. Yeah, my background color is brown. And then for the fire, I think I used about 4 to 5 different colors. I really can't remember now because I did this last year. So we can see this dark red, the light red, there's something like orange, there's yellow, there's a touch of white as well, but my background color is brown. So I needed to show you this so that you can have a better understanding of what I'm about to explain. So let's go back to this. Okay, so you can see this 84. I deducted 84 from 100, and I said I have 16, right? So the 16 for me is this. I'm not saying that's what it is, so hypothetically it is this um background this background color, which is brown. Yeah, so I'm left with 16. So it means that this fire design is taking up 84 stitches, and I'm left with 16 for my background color. So because I want my work to be in the middle, my design to be in the middle, it means my 84 stitches is in the middle, and then the 16 I have to divide it by 2 so that I have some to the right and some to the left of my hoodie, of the design. I hope you're following. I wish I had a cursor or like an arrow to actually point at what I'm saying, but you have to be very, very imaginative right now. Yeah, so I have this 84 is going to be in the middle, because that's what the fire design is going to take up, 84 hypothetically now. So my 16, I'm going to divide it by 2. So 16 divided by 2, that's going to be 8. So meaning that I'm going to have 8 stitches to the right, 8 stitches to the left with my background color, which is brown. So when I'm doing my second row, I'm just going to use my brown yarn and do my 8 stitches brown, and then I go to my pixel and then use whatever color my pixel is prompting me to use. So for example, if it's prompting me to use red, I switch to red. If it's prompting me to switch to yellow, whatever my pixel is telling me to do, I follow strictly. And then once I'm done, I make sure that I have the remaining 16 to the left of the hoodie. Anyways, I think this tutorial is not really about how to do the design. It's just about how to convert your image to pixel, right? So don't let me dwell too much on that. Anyways, so this is how this thing works. Another thing is, let me use another random figure here to explain further. So I think the default was this, right? Before I edited them. So let's say this is what we have now. So still using that hoodie that I just showed to you, I could just in my head, without actually using the sample swatch, which I have done before, and it came out perfect. Actually, I think that was how I did that hoodie that I just showed you, the one with the fire sign. I just imagined that, okay, I want my image to be this small, just at the center of the hoodie. I don't want it to be so wide, like occupy the, is that width right now? Yeah, the width of the hoodie. So what I just did was, okay, I want it to be 50, and I just changed this to 50, and I want this to be 50 as well. So this was what I went with, 50 by 50. You understand? It was just random for me. And then I'm gonna apply it, so you're gonna see what it will look like. Although this is not the fire image we are working with, this is another image entirely. So let me just click on apply, and this is what we have. Now let's go back to the adjust settings. Okay, so let's assume it's actually the fire sign that I'm working with, and I've edited to 50 by 50. What that means is that if, for example, my front panel, I want it to be 200 stitches, for example, so it means that I'm going to deduct 200 from 50. And of course, for the fire sign, the vertical size wasn't 50, because you would notice that it was long. It was long, but it was not so wide. So I think I used a higher number. It really doesn't matter, but let me just keep explaining. So I'm focusing more on the horizontal right now. So it's 50, right? And if, for example, I'm working with a foundation chain, because I'm working horizontally, not vertically. So I'm working from for my hoodie, I'm crocheting from bottom to up. So I'm definitely crocheting, horizontally. So I want my foundation chain to be 200. So I'm just going to deduct 200, this 50 from 200, and I'm left with 150, meaning that, and I want my image to be in the middle, meaning that my middle is where I'm working my pixel diagram, my crochet. So I'm left with 150. So I'm going to go ahead and divide that 150 into 2, because I have this part to the left and this part to the right. So 150 divided by 2, I think that should be about 75. Yeah, so it means that I'm going to use, when I'm crocheting, I'm going to use my background color, which is brown brown yarn. I'll crochet 75 stitches. Then I have to go back to my pixel and use whatever color I'm being prompted to use for my fire design. When I'm done, I must have another free 75 crochet to the left, because I want my design to be in the middle. So my right and my left must carry almost equal amount of stitches. I hope you get what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's how I do it, and it works for me perfectly. So that's just it basically. Now I hope we've gotten this part. So let's just assume this is what we're doing. I'm gonna apply this, but then again, let's look further into what else we need to adjust. So you can see we are done with the size part. So now let's go to the yarn. Automatically, Stitch Fiddle chose 20 colors of yarn for me, which is for me is ridiculous. Yeah, because most of the colors are actually quite similar, and it's almost impossible to have the amount of different shades of yarn. So with this adjuster, I can actually just adjust to suit the number of colors I actually want for my project. So you can see it's reducing to 7, to 6, to 5, 4. So let's just settle with 4. And another thing, because only if you're using the paid version of Stitch Fiddle, there are some other things you're going to have access to, like customizing the color the Stitch Fiddle is showing and all of that. But for me, it's not a bother. What I just do is, by default, it's giving me orange, black, white, and yellow. If I actually want to tweak the color of my design, I just have to take a mental note. So it means that, okay, let me apply this so that you get what I'm saying. So what it means is that wherever my image is showing white, for example, you can see the rabbit is white. If I don't want my rabbit to be white, I'll just take a mental note that, let me save the chart so you see it clearly. Okay, so this is what we have now. So if I don't want my rabbits to be white, for example, I just take a mental note that wherever the pixel prompts me to use white, I'll replace it with my own desired color. Wherever the image prompts me to use black, if I don't want black, I'll take a mental note and use my. Now this image is showing us that the background color, the color of your project, is orange. It might necessarily not be orange. My yarn could be pink. Then I know that whenever I get to this box, instead of switching to orange, I use my pink, which is the color of my hoodie, right? And wherever I see yellow. If I don't want whatever this cartoon character is, if I don't want it to be yellow, if I want it to be green, for example, I know that whenever it's prompting me to switch to yellow, I'm switching to green or purple or whatever my yarn is. So that's just, how I maneuver that part of it. Yeah, so that's just it. Basically, let's go back to settings. Let's see what we have. So that's just it. You can, tweak the color, you can change the size, and all of that. So you can just go ahead and then keep working on your project, and like I said, this tutorial is focused more on how to convert um an image to pixel, not really, to teach how to actually do the pixel work. So I think this covers it. Yeah, that should be it. And okay, so I promised I was gonna take you through the previous, sign into my account and show you the previous things I've done. Let me get to that. Okay, so I've logged into my account, and as you can see, this is actually the fire, design thing that I did on that hoodie that I showed you previously. And right on the same hoodie, I actually still inscribed this rad, this inscription on, like, I think the fire sign was at the back of the hoodie, then the rad inscription was at the front. So I still had to use you know um I had to use this pixel pin for that. And then this Mr. and Mrs. in this love design thingy was actually for a throw pillow, or a pillow that I actually crocheted for a newly married couple sometime last year. And then this Arabic writing, this was also an inscription on a customized hoodie that I did for a client sometime last year. So you can see that using Stitch Fiddle is an endless possibility. There's just a whole lot that you can, do with it. Let me see. Okay, so this is the fire design pixel, and let me just show you the settings. You'd see that yeah, like I said, I did 50-50. I think I still remember that. So I did 50-50 because the then for the color, I'm trying to see if I can get the color settings. It's been a while I used this, so I'm not sure. General setting. Okay, this is colors. Yeah, perfect. So I chose just 4 colors. As you can see, I reduced it to 4 colors, and these are the colors we have here. Like I said, you don't really need to mind the color. You can just take a mental note to replace whatever color you're seeing on your pixel with the actual color of yarn that you have. Yeah, so that's it basically. That's the size here. I reduced it to 50-50, and if you look at this is the pixel right here. Like I said, okay, let me just try to increase use the full screen, because I'm using my phone, and then it might not be bold enough because of all this. Let me go to the desktop site. Let me see what we would get here. Okay, I'm trying to switch to the desktop site. I don't know if this is any better. Anyway, so this is the pixel here. This is the pixel format of the fire design. You can see it's showing horizontally we have 1 to 50, which is exactly what I chose, and then vertically it's also showing 1 to 50. Now, as you can see, even this 50 by 50 doesn't take up all the boxes. So these boxes that are white, these are actually still the background color of my sweater, which is brown. So anywhere you see white, I actually used brown yarn, and then once I get the prompt, I switch to these colors. So that's just it really, and it still came out perfect and nice. So I hope this tutorial has been helpful. But if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to drop a comment down below. I'll try my very best to answer them to the best of my knowledge. All right, so thank you for watching, and happy crocheting. Bye.